All right, Duval, your Jacksonville Jaguars have just fallen to 0-4. Another very disappointing loss, right? Houston Texans this time, first division game of the season. Jaguars have the lead in the fourth quarter once again, unable to finish. So the Jags have now lost 3 super tight games this year. They obviously got blown out by the Bills last week. So they came out and they played more competitive football. We're going to talk about this football game. We're going to talk about what it all means. Again, Jaguars 0-4. This is a franchise that has never come back to make the playoffs from 0-2. Now you can double that, right? 0-4. Obviously, one positive, Brian Thomas Jr. playing absolutely incredible football. Whether they're forcing him the ball or just letting it happen organically, it's been great. What a great player they got in the first round, and were able to trade down to land him. So that's awesome. So happy to see him playing good football for the Jaguars. No doubt about it. Everything else from top to bottom is pretty up and down this year, and more down than up. Really. I mean, much more competitive today again than it was last week. They hung in there the whole game. 3 of these losses now, the Jaguars have had the chance to win. And 2 of them, they have had the fourth quarter lead. They've had the lead till the very end of the game, basically. So that is just gut-wrenching for Jaguars fans, no doubt about it. Trevor Lawrence missed some opportunities in this one that he needed to convert today. Overall, he hasn't really played a whole lot of winning football this year. I thought he played very well against the Miami Dolphins. I thought he had a good, not great second half against the Cleveland Browns. Obviously did not get it done. Nobody got it done against the Bills. And then today, again, made some nice plays, no doubt, but certainly was not his sharpest performance, and there's some plays he would love to have back. I think you could say that about a lot of the team today here. Christian Kirk was able to get it going in this one, which was good to see. Scored a go-ahead touchdown in the third quarter. Jaguars were not able to hold on to that lead, as we talked about. The Jaguars defense, it really struggled, early and late, stopping C.J. Stroud through the air, who had a fantastic game. He missed some opportunities as well, but overall, C.J. Stroud had a big game through the air. And that's going to happen when you're down Tyson Campbell. You're down Darnell Savage. You're down your top 2 starting linebackers as well, and Foye Oluokun and Devin Lloyd. No excuses for this football team. A lot of teams are dealing with injuries all over the field right now, but I thought the defense without those guys played pretty admirably overall. They kind of broke late in the game when the Jaguars offense really sputtered late in the game as well. So this was a complete team collapse down the stretch, in my opinion. I hated one decision by Doug Peterson we'll talk about here. The 4th and goal, end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, you're up 20-17. You have an opportunity to go up by 6 points, and you say, well, I know a lot of folks say, well, by going for it on 4th and goal, you have the opportunity to put yourself up by 10 points. And they did, no doubt about it. But the risk, in my opinion, is greater than the reward of going for 3, putting yourself up by 6, which forces the Houston Texans to then have to score a touchdown, right, versus a field goal. And then, if you're up by 6, if you're up 26-17 at that point, and the Texans do score a touchdown, all you need is 3. All you need is 3 to get back on top. So I think that with the Jaguars knowing how poorly they execute in the red zone, they absolutely should have taken the chip shot field goal. I also think, Tank Bigsby, after he has a 58-yard run, right after it, you hand him the ball twice. That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, that man's got to be gassed after a run like that. Then you're in the red zone and you hand him the ball twice. That one didn't make any sense to me. It really didn't. And the offensive sequencing on the final offensive drive for the Jaguars before the Texans had the go-ahead lead, very late in the game, and put the Jaguars in a position where they pretty much had no chance. It was awful. That offensive sequencing, 3 and out in a money situation. You only take 40 seconds off the clock when you have the lead. So that was pretty disgusting. Josh Hines-Allen did enter concussion protocol, so that's something you're going to have to monitor, obviously. Looked like Brian Thomas Jr. had a little elbow, but no word on that. I think he's going to be okay. I'm not going to break down the game too much further than that because I need to actually go back and watch every play. I'm on a cruise right now, right? So this is a very kind of generic, broad breakdown of what happened today, my thoughts on what happened as I was following along with UCF Jaguar, with Twitter, following everything going on. We're heading up to Alaska right now. But what does this all mean? Again, Jaguars are 0-4, fall to 0-4. This is a football team that's never come back to make the playoffs from being 0-2. Now they're 0-4, 4 straight losses. Trevor Lawrence has lost like 8 straight games. I think the Jags have now lost, 9 of 10. So, in my opinion, I wiped the slate clean at the beginning of the season. I wasn't going to hold what happened at the end of the year against them with all the injuries that took place. But now that nothing has changed, I think it is fair to say that that has continued into the 2024 season, and this is what the Jaguars are now. They're a football team that can't close out games, whether it be coaching, whether it be execution, all the above, offensively, defensively. They're snake bit. And that's a team without confidence, right? That's a team without confidence. I really do believe this is a team that is no longer buying the messaging, that is no longer cohesive, that no longer is having the message from their head coach and the staff resonate throughout this team. So what does it mean? I mean, if you want to look at it optimistic, which I don't think you should, but let's just sit here and pretend for a moment, right? Play pretend. You want to be optimistic. The Jaguars are 0-4. The next 3 games on their schedule, even at 0-4, they might be favored. The Colts never beat the Jaguars in Jacksonville, and they're not playing great football. I know they had a better showing against the Steelers today overall, but they never win in Jacksonville. And that feels like a very winnable game for the Jaguars. But of course, they're 0-4. But again, we're spinning positive for a moment, just for those of y'all that might want to hear something positive. They might be favored against the Colts. They might be favored in London against the Bears and the Patriots. You could theoretically leave London 3-4. And then you have a very difficult schedule after that. So I don't know how excited you should get even if that does happen. By some miracle, this football team that has won 1 game in their last 10 goes on a 3-game winning streak. Yeah, I don't see that happening, but it could. They could be favored in all 3 of those games, and they do have an advantage in London. They have for a while now. This is a football team that is experienced over there. But I don't believe that necessarily. The completely pessimistic point of view is that, I mean, you've got to burn it all down right now because you're 0-4. There's no point in continuing to go status quo right now when things are not getting better. Things are not improving. And in fact, from a confidence standpoint, I think what Trevor Lawrence is being provided by this offensive staff is probably doing more negative than anything else right now. And you can say he's not playing great football. I just told you that. I agree. I don't think he's being helped by his coaching staff on offense. From a play calling, from a play sequencing, from an overall offensive design standpoint, I do not think they are helping him. And I think they're making it extremely difficult on him and this offense. And you need fresh thoughts, fresh ideas. So that's where I kind of land. I'm much more towards the pessimistic side, as I think everyone should be. Do you fire your head coach a week before you go to London? I don't know. I think you probably keep him on through the London trip. And then if things haven't improved at all, you move on at that point. But I wouldn't blame them for doing it right now. Even though I know that Doug has the experience as this team's leader taking them to London, I think, honestly, you've got to make a change sooner rather than later. you're not helping anyone by continuing this. It has gotten to a point where it's just got to change. It's got to. So I land pretty much completely on the pessimistic point of view. And you can say, yeah, this team has been competitive in most of these games this year. Honestly, if the Texans hadn't beaten themselves up today with a lot of offensive penalties, this could have been a much different game. And so I don't really think that the Jaguars deserved to be in this game the way they were, outside of like Brian Thomas Jr. playing great and there being some improved play offensively at times, clearing some holes and running backs playing well. But it's just a team that cannot win and that has too much talent to not be able to win, to squeak out some of these games. The messaging is not resonating for this football team, and changes need to be made. Again, sooner rather than later. That's where I'm at. Let me know where you're at with these Jacksonville Jaguars, who now fall to 0-4 after losing to the Houston Texans. Let me know where you're at in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all try to have a good one.